So, geometry. Hopefully you all received the email with the information sheet with all of the geometry reasons. If you didn't get it, all of those reasons are on this lesson. So as we go along, you can screenshot, but I did put together an information sheet of all of the geometry reasons that we did to be sent to you. So if you didn't get it, I think it was sent, we discovered it was either sent via WhatsApp, I think. But if you didn't get it, please try and contact Watobe so that you can get it, because I do think it's useful to have like an information sheet for yourself when learning geometry. So I have put one together for you. Hopefully you all got it. But let's start with our straight line geometry reasons. Just going to take that back. We learned about 3 straight line geometry reasons. Those 3 being the fact that angles around a point add up to 360 degrees. And as long as there are angles around a central point, it doesn't really matter how many angles we're talking about. They just all have to be around a central point. Remember, in geometry, you always have to give your reason. And so the reason here would be angles around a point. Obviously, guys, we have spoken about this, but some of your reasons that you've learned in school might be a little bit different to what I put up here. That's fine. You use the reasons that you've learned. These are the reasons I use. They all mean the same thing, so don't stress. The second reason that we learned to do with straight lines was angles on a straight line. A little bit on the nose there. But we learned that if we've got angles all on one common straight line originating from a common point, they have to add up to 180 degrees. Again, my reason would be angles on a straight line. And the third reason that we learned was vertically opposite angles are equal to each other. That's essentially what that statement there is saying. And so what we need to remember is that whenever we have this like cross shape, the angles opposite each other at the point where the lines cross are equal. So AD is equal to CEB and AEC is equal to DEB, which is exactly what that statement says there. And our reason that we would give there are vert-up angles equal. So those were the 3 straight line geometry reasons that we have spoken about. And like I say, these are going to stick with you throughout geometry all the way up until you finish school. So let's have a look at some examples of how we go and use these. Just in case anyone wants to take a screenshot before I go to the questions. Okay, so if we have a look at question 1, can anyone tell me which reason I can use to go and solve for x in this question? That's what I'm trying to do. I want to get the value of x. Put in the chat, you can raise your hand, don't really mind. What can I do? Right, awesome, Samuel, well done. Angles on a straight line. These 2 angles are on a straight line originating from the same point. And so we can use the reason angles on a straight line. Now we know that angles on a straight line need to add up to 180 degrees. So that means I can set up an equation for myself. I can say 3x plus 30 plus 42 degrees gives me 180. Now I've made a geometric statement, which means I need to give a geometric reason. Angles on straight line. We can abbreviate straight. We'd like to save time as far as possible. You don't have to abbreviate it, but you can. And now that I've set up my equation, I can go and solve my equation. Now 30 and 42 are like terms, so I'm just going to quickly add them together. So 3x and then 30 plus 42 is then plus 72 is equal to 180. This is now an equation. We spoke about equations on Monday. I can subtract 72 on both sides, so 180 minus 72, which gives me 108 degrees. And then to finish off solving for x, I know that I can divide both sides by 3 in order to get x alone. And 108 divided by 3, I think Riabitsu had put it on the chat, is 36 degrees. And so in this case, this x is 36 degrees. Now remember, guys, you can go and check yourself if you go and take your answer now of x equals 36 and you substitute it back in there, 36 times 3 is then 108, plus 30 is 138, plus 42 gives us 180. So when I substitute it back, I want to check that adding those two angles together does give me 180 degrees. And because it does, I know I've got my answer correct. Okay, so I'll leave it up there if you want to take a screenshot. And I'm going to ask you the same thing for question B. Which reason can we use in question B to solve for x? Okay, here's question B. Have a look. Maybe if someone wants to give it a try, you can raise your hand. How am I going to get x here? Anyone wanting to give it a try? Hey, Emmanuel, tell us.
Ma'am, so we're gonna say 3x minus 12 degrees plus 108 degrees equals 180 degrees because vertically opposites.
Okay, what do we know about vertically opposite angles?
No, wait, ma'am, sorry. It's gonna be 3x minus 12 degrees equals 108 degrees.
Okay, so guys, we know that vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, keep going.
And then you're gonna move 108 to the left side, so it's gonna become a negative, and 3x to the right side, so it's gonna become a -2. And then you're gonna get -12 minus 108 degrees equals -3x.
Okay.
And then -12 minus 108 degrees is minus 120 degrees.
Okay.
Equals -3x. And then it's gonna be -3x minus divided by -3 and -120 divided by -3. And on the left side, I'm gonna get 40.
Good.
And on the right side, I'm gonna get x or negative x. No, x. Yes, x.
Good. Perfect. Okay, so guys, here x is equal to 40. Emmanuel likes to do things differently. And this is absolutely fine. But just so that you know, you don't have to move the 3x over to the right. If you wanted to, you could have kept it on the left and you could have said 3x is equal to 108 plus 12 degrees, because that still gives you the 120. And still, when you divide by 3, you will get x is equal to 40. Both methods are absolutely fine, really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you get x is equal to 40. And remember, we always want a positive x. And most of the time, like 99% of the time, that angle should be positive. It's very rare that we ever make you solve for a negative angle, mostly because it's not really something we work a whole lot with at this point. So most of the time, you should be getting a positive answer. Righty, if you want to take a screenshot, there you go. Get ready for C. Right. Question C, again. Hands up, who can explain how to do this one? Or what reason can I use to go and solve for x here? Okay, good, Emmanuel. So guys, all of these angles come from a common point. So Emmanuel, tell us.
Ma'am, I said angles are on a point. So it's gonna be 85 degrees plus 62 degrees plus 53 degrees plus 2x minus 10 degrees equals 360 degrees because of angles around a point.
Perfect. I have regrets about me doing this all the way up here. Keep going. It's fun.
And then we're gonna add all the what do you call it? All the numbers. Yeah, all the numbers. And let me just quickly. I'm gonna get 190 degrees.
Okay.
190 plus 2x equals 360.
Good.
And then I'm gonna move 190 over to the right side, and I'm gonna get negative 90 190. So it's gonna be 360 minus 190, and then 360 minus 190. It'll give me 170.
Good.
And then I divide 2 on both sides.
170 or 270?
170.
Okay, unless my maths is shocking. 360 minus. Yeah, because my maths is shocking tonight. Please ignore me. Continue.
No problem, man. So we're gonna divide 2 on both sides, and then so 2x divided by 2, and 170 divided by 2. So on the left side, you're gonna get x, and on the right side, you're gonna get 85 degrees.
Perfect. Excellent.
And if you add all of them up, you get 360.
Good. Well done. So guys, we can check ourselves by substituting that back in and making sure that we get that 360 degrees. But essentially, if we add all 4 of those angles up, I should get 360 degrees. And so that's the reason that we use to go and solve for x there. Alrighty, take your screenshots. And then we're going to have a look at our next set of geometric reasons, which involves parallel lines. Okay, so guys, when we talk about parallel lines, there are 3 sort of reasons that we need to know. So the first parallel line reason that we need to know is that of corresponding angles. Now, importantly, you have to have parallel lines in order for these reasons to be true. If you don't have parallel lines, they don't work. And we know we have parallel lines when we've been given these little arrows on the lines. Those arrows mean parallel. So the first reason that we have is corresponding angles, which are equal. I'll come back to this last little bit now. And basically in the corners of the F, those angles that are created are equal to each other. Our reason would be corresponding angles. And importantly, we always state which parallel lines we are working with. So here, corresponding angles, and the 2 parallel lines are AB and CD. If I don't give you labels, you just state parallel lines. They're still there. We just don't have labels for them, but they are parallel lines. So that's corresponding angles. They're equal to each other. Right. Coletto, do you have a question for us?
I think Jorgelo is having network issue. Jorgelo, are you now okay? It could, no, he still needs to connect. His network either is bad or he needs to connect to audio.
Okay, so
I'll just help him on the chat to try and.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so that is corresponding angles. The next reason that we have is co-interior angles. This is sort of like the U shape. Co-interior angles is a little bit different because the angles aren't equal. Rather, when we add them together, they give us 180 degrees. So again, it's the angles in the corner of the U. When we add them, they give us 180. We give our reason of co-interior angles, and we always state the parallel lines or just state parallel lines if I don't give you labels. So cones here are a little bit different because they add up to 180. They're not equal, but it is the U shape. And the last parallel line reason that we have is alternate angles. So this is the N shape. The angles created in the corners of the N are equal to each other. Again, our reason is alternate angles, and we state our parallel lines. So those are our three reasons that we use for parallel lines. And I remember it as fun: the F shape, the U shape, and the N shape. That's how I remember my parallel line reasons. Some people use fuzz. Maths is fun. Whatever helps you, that it's the F, the U, and the N shape. Now, obviously, these shapes can all be like weirdly orientated. So you could have an F shape like that. You could have an N shape like that. As long as you sort of are looking out for that general shape, that's what you get. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make that a touch smaller in case you want to screenshot all of those reasons together. We've got the questions there as well, but we're going to do them now in a second. Just in case you didn't get the geometry reason. Cogelo, do you want to try again now?
No, Auntie, I was just telling you that yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Auntie.
Okay. Right, guys, so let us have a look at some parallel line questions. So question A, who wants to have a go? Have a look at it. What should I do here? You can raise your hand, you can put in the chat. Which reason should I use to go and solve for X? And remember, my beautiful arrows here are telling me that these two lines are parallel to each other. Sammy, what do you think?
Ma'am, I think it's corresponding angles.
Excellent. And what do we know about corresponding angles? What should they be to each other?
They should be equal to each other.
Perfect. So do you want to try and set up a equation here for us?
So it should be 120 equals to 5x.
Okay, so 125.
Yeah, 125. Sorry, ma'am.
No, it's okay. Is equal to 5x. Obviously, guys, we give our reason. Corresponding angles. Now, I haven't given you labels on these lines, so you'll just state parallel lines. That's fine, but make sure you do that. All right, so Sammy, what do I do now to solve for x?
You say 5 divided by 125 and 5 divided by x.
Okay, so just remember we want to get x alone. So do you agree on both sides? I'm going to divide by 5.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Yes.
No, it's all right. So we've got 125 divided by 5. And, I don't know. And we've got 5x divided by 5. Now that means that we've got x on the right. And what is 125 divided by 5, Sammy?
Ma'am, I think it's 25.
Good. 25 degrees is our value for x. Excellent. Well done. So guys, we use the F shape here. Yes, it's a backwards and upside down F, but that's what I was saying. It doesn't have to be a traditional F shape. It just has to be that general sort of form. And because we've got that shape, we know that the two corresponding angles are equal to each other. And so we can set up an equation and solve for x. Very nice. Take your screenshots. Let's have a look at our second one. Right. Question B. We've been given two parallel lines here. Who wants to raise their hand and give it a try? Take a second and think about it. And if you're feeling confident, let us know. Emmanuel?
Thank you, ma'am. So it's 3x plus 10 degrees equals 70 degrees, because alternate angles are equal.
Perfect. Okay, keep
Um,
going.
and then we're gonna move 10 over to the right side. So it's gonna be 70 minus 10.
Mhm.
So 3x equals 70 minus 10. And that's gonna give me 3x equals 60.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna say 3x divided by 3 and 60 divided by 3, giving me 20 on the right side and x on the left side. So x equals 20.
Perfect. Well done. Oh, okay, didn't get any better. Awesome, guys. So we can use alternate angles here. We've got a Z shape, an N shape over here, which tells me that those angles are equal. Rio Beto had also said on the chat co-interior angles, which you can absolutely do. If you wanted to use co-interior angles, I'm hoping I'm going to get this all off without taking everything off. Co-interior angles, remember, is the U shape. And so by using this U shape, we can use angles on a straight line to work out this angle here, which would be 110. And then we know 110 plus 3x plus 10 is 180. So you can definitely use co-interior angles. You do just need to first state that that angle is 110. You could also use corresponding angles, because using vertically opposite angles, you know that this angle here is 70, and then you've got an F shape, which means that those two angles are equal. So actually you could use any three of your parallel line reasons here. Alternate angles is the quickest way, but you can use any three, mostly just because I don't want to have to rewrite them, but I do want to show you. If you have a look here, those are all three options that you could essentially use. The blue is using corresponding angles, as you can see here. So using the F shape. The red is then using co-interior angles. I don't know what I'm doing, right? Co-interior angles. And then option 3 is exactly what we did now, which is alternate angles. So you can actually do it any of, restart that sentence. You can do it using any of your 3 parallel line reasons here. All right, I'm going to go back to our working out so that you can take a screenshot. And guys, remember, in geometry, there's often different ways to get to the same answer. So as long as you give all your reasons, and as long as those reasons make sense with the diagram, you will get the marks. And when I say make sense with the diagram, for example, you couldn't use angles on a straight line in this question, because these two angles are definitely not on a straight line. They're not adjacent to each other on a straight line. So that's an invalid reason. But any of the other reasons that make sense, you can use. Right, I'm going to ask you to try C by yourselves. Now C, there are English 5 angles that are unknown here. We've got V, W, X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes. You've been given 2 sets of parallel lines here. So you've been told this line is parallel to this line. What I'll do is I'll add some labels just in case you feel you need labels. So let's A, B, C, D, E. Okay, that should be all the labels you need. X, no, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I want the values of those with reasons. You can put them in the chat. So just say V equals and then your reason, and then we'll go through it. So take a couple minutes, give it a go. I realize now I didn't draw very pretty lines. So let's take those off and try again. You don't have to start with V. You can start wherever you want. But I do want all 5 of those angle sizes. Remember your reasons. And in questions like this, guys, if the working out is like very basic, like just adding two numbers together, you don't have to show it. You can go straight to your answer with the reason. Nice, good, Theo. Well done on remembering your reasons. Please remember reasons, guys. Good. Shaham, do you have a question for us?
No, ma'am, I think I know the answers for.
Okay, cool. Well, let's start. Do you want to start with V for us?
Yes, V is equals to 26 because vertically opposite angles are equal.
Excellent.
And W is equals to 126 also because alternate angles are equal.
Good. And which parallel lines are we working with? Okay, so guys, remember we always state the parallel lines. Here I gave you labels, so it would be F, G, and DE, or you can just say parallel lines. That's fine too. But we know that W is also equal to 126.
And Z is equals to 100 because vertically opposite, no, Y is equals to 100 because vertically opposite angles are equal. Then Z is equals to 100.
And what's your reason for Z?
Y is equals to 100 because corresponding angles are equal.
Good.
Z is equals to 100 because vertical opposite angles are
Excellent.
equal.
Well done. So Y is corresponding angles. Again, because we have those parallel lines. And then Z is also equal to 100 because it is vertically opposite. Excellent. So which one are we missing? So we're still missing X.
X. I think X is equals to 100 because corresponding angles are equal.
So remember, corresponding angles is the F shape. So we've got an F shape here. So X would be equal to 126. Do you agree?
Yes.
Good. Or you could use vertically opposite, guys. That's fine too. Corresponding angles. Excellent. So we got all 5 of our angles. Well done. Now, guys, importantly, you could have had different reasons here. So like I've just said, for X, you could have had vertically opposite angles. For W, you could have had corresponding angles. Yes, that's it. But if your reasons look a bit different, that's fine. Okay, as long as it makes sense with the diagram, as long as you've used the appropriate lines and so on, any reason, oh no, maybe not any reason, but as long as the reason makes sense for the diagram, you will be fine. Pumzile, do you have a question for us?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to ask, ma'am, are angles only corresponding if there's a transversal line and a parallel line?
Yes. And the transversal line has to, I don't know how to like put this very mathematically, but basically if you've got, no, let's, I'm panicking, I'm sorry. If you've got your two parallel lines, the transversal has to cut them somewhere so that you've got those angles created. But yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Sandor, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Afternoon.
Yes. Hi.
Ma'am, can for 126 degrees and y, ma'am, can you use co-interior angles or not?
Okay, so we can't use co-interior angles there because of the fact that the U shape that we would be working with isn't with the parallel lines. So that is not parallel to that. The only co-interior angles we do potentially have are the U shapes like that. So this angle and this angle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so the two arms of the U have to be the parallel lines.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. Okay, guys, very nicely done. I threw a hard one at you there. Palesa, can we say x is equal? You definitely can. Verse up angles for x is perfectly valid as well. Right, so take your screenshots, and then we're going to have a bit of a brain break before we do our last few geometry reasons involving triangles. Okay, oops. We have got to guess the phrase again today. And a cow joke, because, you know, last lesson we have to end off with a cow joke. Okay, so guess a phrase. You've got 5 phrases there. Hands up, or you can put it in the chat. I don't really mind. What is it saying? Kando.
Ma'am, I think I have an answer for number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Too little, too late.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm still on a highlighter. Right, excellent. Number 3, too little, too late. And I see Paul, oh golly, too late. And Paul put for 1 misunderstanding, because miss is under the word standing. Well done. Tammy, I'm glad you appreciate the joke. Theo, very close with number 3. I don't know what number 5 would mean, if that helps at all. What does no tick mean? And let's try and keep it clean here, guys. So very close. Every now and then I'm a little bit old, but not all the time. So keep trying. Number 5, someone also put here, Theo put notice as number 5, and very, very close, but what is missing from the notice? Samuel, excellent. Number 4, 4-wheel drive. So we've just got number 2 and number 5. They are a little bit trickier. It definitely has something to do with notice number 5, but it's not just notice. And Shaham's also put on the group how you actually spell notice. So that is quite helpful. Short notice, exactly. We are short a letter in the spelling of notice. So this is short notice. Well done, Samuel. For number 2, it's a similar sort of thing. Look at the spelling. What's weird about it? Okay, Roberto has put on the chat how you actually spell weather. Well done. Bad weather. It is a bad spelling of weather. So this is bad. Oh, I nearly couldn't spell weather there. Weather. Yeah, Samuel, you're on a roll there. Right, guys. So we've got misunderstanding, bad weather, too little, too late, 4-wheel drive, and short notice. Very nicely done. Right, sugar beans, let's have a look at our last set of reasons which involve triangles. I will make this a bit small in case you want to screenshot all of the reasons together in a second. Let's just go through our triangle reasons to make sure that we all remember them. So our triangle reasons, we have 4 that we need to know. The first 2 are probably the ones that at this current point we use most often, but the last 2 you do end up using quite a lot as you go on in geometry. So the first reason that we have is the fact that when we add the 3 interior angles in a triangle, we get 180 degrees. And this is because of sum of angles in a triangle. So adding all the angles in a triangle up gives us 180 degrees. Oops, sorry. We also know that when you have an exterior angle to a triangle, so a triangle that is outside the triangle, adding the 2 opposite interior angles gives you that outside angle. So the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the 2 interior opposite angles. And that reason that we give is exterior angle of a triangle. The third reason that we spoke about has to do with when you are given 2 equal sides in a triangle. So given a triangle with 2 equal sides, you then know that the 2 angles opposite those equal sides are the same size. So they're equal. And this is because of angles opposite equal sides. We can then say the reverse or the converse of that. If you are given a, can't highlight today. If you are given a triangle with 2 equal angles, you can then go on and say that the sides opposite them are equal in length. And that is sides opposite equal angles. So it's a way to remember the difference between the 2 is the sort of second statement is what you are given. So you're given the equal sides, and so the angles are opposite. And the second one, you're given the equal angles, hence the sides are opposite. Because they can get a bit confusing because they are converses of each other. So it's important to understand the difference. Right, so what I'll do is I'll make this a tad smaller in case you want to screenshot all of them together. You can also then get the questions. We should finish all of them, but just in case we don't. Sammy, did you manage to sort out the screen situation? Sorry, I just saw on the chat now. Oh no. Is anyone else's screen not showing the notes? Can everyone see the notes?
Anyone there?
I've only got Emmanuel telling me that he can see. Sammy, I wish I could tell you what the problem is.
I mean, we'll just have to either log out and in again.
He did say that he rejoined. I don't know. Maybe it's a network problem.
No, it's not network problem. He has to try. She has to try, or he has to try to go out and in again.
Okay. Okay, so Sammy, try again. Hopefully it works. I can always come back to this if you want to screenshot it if you didn't get the email with the reason list. Okay, guys. while Sammy's hopefully figuring that out, let's have a look at our first question. So hands up, who wants to do it? How do I do it? Enlighten us. Let's pick a different color. I feel like we've really just exhausted. Rebetswe, tell us.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
So, ma'am, I said 2x minus 10 degrees plus 52 plus 36 is equals to 180 degrees because sum of angles in a triangle.
Excellent. Okay, keep going. You want to finish it off for us?
Then I said 2x is equals to 180 degrees plus 10 degrees because when the 10 goes to another side, it turns into a positive. And then
Excellent.
minus 52 degrees minus 36 degrees.
Good.
And then I said 2x is equals to 2x divided by 2 is equals to 102 degrees minus 2.
Whoopsie daisies, sorry. 102 degrees minus 2 or divided by 2?
Divided by 2, ma'am.
Good.
And then I got x is equals to 51 degrees.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well done, Rebetsu.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right, guys, exactly. X is equal to 51 degrees. Palesa, I saw your hand. Have a look at the next one, and then hopefully you can give us an answer for the next one. Right, but guys, we've got a triangle there. You knew 2 of the 3 angles. You knew that if you added the 3 angles together, you should get 180. Set up your equation and solve. Take your screenshots. Find another color. Right, question B. You've got an X and a Y here. So look carefully. If you want to put your answers in the chat, remember to do it with an X and a Y. There are a couple different, sorry.
No, Sammy is back and it's working. So it's good
Okay.
news.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sammy.
There are a couple different reasons you can potentially give for both X and Y. So don't stress if you do it slightly differently to what we end up talking about, but do remember your reasons. I'm going to give everyone just a minute or two to give it a try. I'm coming back to it now. Sorry. Okay, Shaham, do you want to tell us? Do you want to give us both? Do you want to give us just X?
Yes, ma'am. I want to answer the whole angle.
Wonderful.
So I say x plus 58 is equals to 180 because angles on a straight line are equal.
Good.
Then x is equals to 180 minus 58.
Yeah.
X is equals to 122.
Perfect. Well done.
Okay, y. Y plus 21 plus 122 is equals to 180 because sum of angles in a triangle.
Good.
Then y is equals to 180 minus 21 minus 122.
Good.
Y is equals to 37.
Sorry, I'm playing catch up. I agree. Y is equal to 37 degrees. Perfect. Did anyone do either of those differently? So did anyone use different reasons for X and Y? Okay, Palesa, I'm giving you the last one. You are answering the last one. Right, thank you, Shaham. Very nicely done. Okay, so Palesa, it is yours. Last one's yours. Did no one do these differently? Okay, well, you could have, because you've got a triangle here, you could have seen that 58 is an exterior angle to a triangle, which means that y plus 21 is 58. And so you could have used exterior angles of a triangle to get y. And you also could have used sum of angles in a triangle to get x then. But like I say, guys, all the same. Right, Palesa, you are on it. I will wait for your hand and not ask anyone else because I did actually promise you to answer one. Take your screenshot, guys, and then we're going to have a look at question C. We're probably going to end a tad early, but I don't feel too bad about that because it is a quiz. All righto. Question C. Now, because clearly I can draw very beautiful straight lines. What I am attempting to say here is that these two sides with the tick marks on them are equal. So this side is equal in length to this side. So I want you to solve for x. And we await Palesa's hand. Okay, Palesa, we are all ears.
Ma'am, I said x plus 2x plus x equals 180 because sum of angles in a triangle.
Okay, where did you get the second x from?
Ma'am, because ma'am, it's a isosceles triangle. So
Okay. I'm just adding some labels because I think that will be easier. So what size is angle C?
ma'am, I gave it an x.
Okay, why did you give it an x when it's AB and AC that are equal to each other? Because remember, it's the angles opposite those sides that are equal. So what should C be equal to?
Ma'am, I said it's equal to 60.
Okay, so in terms of x, what is this angle equal to? So if we write it with an x in it, what size is that angle if it should be equal to this angle?
Ma'am, doesn't it make it
2x.
2x? Yes, ma'am.
Exactly, and this is because of angles opposite
Opposite.
equal sides. And then I completely agree with what you said. Therefore, 2x plus 2x plus x, so adding all of these angles up together, must be equal to 180.
180.
And what's the reason?
Ma'am, because some angles in a triangle.
Excellent. Oops. Right, so what is 2x plus x plus 2x?
Ma'am, so we're gonna say 5x divided equals 180. Then we're gonna
Excellent.
divide by 5.
Excellent.
And then we 180 divided by 5 is 36.
Awesome, well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well done. Okay, exactly, guys. So as Palesa said, x is equal to 36 degrees. Very importantly, because I didn't give you the size of angle C, so because I didn't tell you what this angle was, you do need to state what it is and give your reason. That's very important. You can't just write something down without telling me why you've done it if I haven't given it to you. But after that, exactly as Palesa had said, we use sum of angles in a triangle to go and solve for x. Righto, so take your screenshots. That was our last question. So there's like 5 minutes left. I don't know if anyone has any specific questions they want to ask. Anything they want to double check before their exams. If there isn't anything, you will see that Yolande has posted the quiz link on the chat. So please make sure you do get it. But if there are any questions, I'm here. Ask away. Rebecca?
So ma'am, I was asking, since you said that we needed to know these reasons for geometry for grade 9, isn't there like going to be like more reasons to find out in the following grades, or like this is just it?
So there are definitely more reasons that we're going to do. We start working with circles as well. But these reasons will carry on all the way up until matric. So next year we'll do a few more reasons that have to do, some of you might have done similarity and congruency already, but we'll chat about that next year. And then in grade 10, 11, and 12, we start working with circle geometry, which is quite exciting.